We made it, people. We made it. Went from the 90s through to the noughties, and now we're at the 2010s. Just to elaborate more on that, because people have been getting confused at what the 2010s mean. I'm not sure why, but it actually means 2010 to 2019. Some people were messaging me going, so 2010, I'm just sending you my favourite albums from 2010. I'm like, what? No, it's decade. You know that thing that we've been doing for 2 weeks? Yeah, that. Take a guess what we're doing. Anyway, welcome everybody. Episode 9 of the CTR podcast. Finally, we make it to the 2010s. And we're nearly, speaking of 10s, at episode 10. I've got something special planned for it. I'm going to try and work something out for you guys, just to say thank you. 10 weeks of doing this podcast. It's flown by. Not just doing the podcast, but doing the intro videos. You know, I've got about 6 of them up. It's just absolutely flown by. And that probably shows how much I'm enjoying doing it. But, yeah. But before we start, just get some admin out the way. As you might see, we have a new logo. We have a new banner. All over the different channels, all over Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Thank you to my main man Andre for sorting that out for me. We worked on it for a couple of hours on Friday and Saturday. I say we, it was mostly him. I told him what was good when he sent it me. I was like, yep. And then we just, sizing it and everything. But shout out to Andre. He did all of the work, so fair play to him. I'll give a shout out, seeing as though we're getting into episode 10, do all the thank yous to the closest people that have been helping me. Give a shout out to my main man Jake, edits all the videos, makes all the thumbnails. If you guys enjoy them, go show him some love. Go follow him on Facebook if you like. Shout out to my main man Gilly, who gives me loads of shout outs all over Facebook. And to the main fans who message me all the time about ideas for the next videos. Thank you. Like, your support really, really, really shows how much of a good idea this was on my behalf. That sounds really like arrogant, but no. I've always wanted to do something like this. So I think starting this was a good idea, because a lot of people saying it's doing well, you're doing a good job. So thank you to everyone who's been showing the support. I do want to cover some news. We don't usually. I mean, we are supposed to be covering news on this podcast, but lately I've just been doing top 5s and 10s and top everythings. But I'm gonna have to cover some news that we can't ignore this week, and that is 6ix9ine releasing his first single since his 2-year incarceration, 1.5 year incarceration in jail. Gooba has broken all the records. It is him himself. 6ix9ine has broken all the records. Me personally, I've never seen a more successful comeback from a guy who was counted out, from a guy who they said he was never going to come back. No one was going to work with him. No one was going to listen to his music when he came out because he was a snitch. He was a rat. He seems to embrace the rat thing, by the way. He's made like little animations of himself as a rat. He messaged Trippie Redd saying, was it Trippie Redd? I think it was Trippie Redd. He messaged saying, you better make a song with me or else I'm going to rat on you. So 6ix9ine, being the troll that he is, has come out on top and used that to his advantage. The live video that he first posted on Instagram, that 11-minute long one where he was talking about being a snitch and stuff like that. If you want to go watch that. I'm not going to dive too much into it because I want to get to the list and all that. But he broke a record with that, 2 million views on Instagram. His song Gooba broke all kinds of records. I believe it. In fact, I say I believe. I know for a fact it did. It broke the record on YouTube for most views in the first 24 hours for a hip-hop song. It beat Eminem's Kill Shot. Do you remember that from a couple of years ago? That Machine Gun Kelly diss track? It beat that. It's currently sitting on, I believe, nearly 50, maybe over 50 million listens, but it got about 40 million in the first 24 hours. So fair play to him. The merch that he dropped lately was fire as well. Go check that out. I bought some myself, I'm not going to lie. And it's not the first time we've talked about 6ix9ine on this channel. We've done the album review. I did the news video when he first got released from jail. And it certainly isn't going to be the last time we're going to be speaking about him in this video. Little spoiler there for you. But without further ado, let us get to the top 5 that you guys have picked of the noughties, of the 10s. God, I am getting so lost in these lists. But yep, the sound of the people, you guys spoke, I listened, so as the voice of the people, I will tell you what the community has chosen for the top 5 of the 2010s, that being 2010 to 2019. Coming in at, this is an interesting list, by the way. There's a couple of albums on here that I really thought were going to get into the top 5 for you guys, but they haven't. And then there's a few albums where I definitely thought they were going to get into the top 5, and they have, definitely. But coming in at number 5, we have Kendrick Lamar's 2017 release Damn, being the self-titled song on the album as well, also called Damn, I believe. This also featured Humble, DNA, Element. Really good album by Kendrick Lamar here. For me, this is a really special album to me. Mainly because when I saw, this sounds horrible, but I actually kind of wrote Kendrick off as not overrated or anything. Just like, he made Good Kid, Mad City, and then he made Pimp a Butterfly, and then he was, very successful with them albums, and they had a couple of singles projects and a couple of features on different albums where he was absolutely fantastic on. And when he announced that he was working on this project, Damn, I thought, there's no way you're going to live up to Good Kid, and there's no way you're going to live up to Butterfly. There's no way. I thought them albums are god tier albums in themselves. I didn't think he was going to be able to do it, and he did. He dropped it in 2017. It was absolutely amazing. Humble got a load of records. It currently sits in over 1 billion views on Spotify. So listens on Spotify. All the videos on YouTube, mad views. This album is very good. I really enjoy this album. I really enjoy the simplicity of the album cover as well. It's just him, and then there's a brick wall behind him. Just a simple album cover. It's really good. I really like this album. So fair play to you guys for getting it into the top 5. I do want to give a couple of shout outs before we move on, by the way, to the albums that didn't make it into the top 5. A couple of artists as well that got a lot of mentions that unfortunately didn't get into the top 5. The first one I want to give a shout out to is Pitbull. Now, I did not think Pitbull was even going to get a mention in any of you guys' lists. Me personally, I think Pitbull gets a bit too much hate. I mean, yeah, he's not the best lyrically, but you got to admit, he drops them bangers. He drops them hits. You can't deny that Pitbull makes a couple of good club tunes, and he makes a couple of good tunes when he's sat in your garden on a summer's day and he's sipping on, I was going to say a certain beer then, which would have got me probably, like, if it was going to, put adverts on this, it probably would have got me blocked. A couple of lagers, I'm going to say that. Yeah, Pitbull, really good. I want to give a shout out to Flowrider as well. A lot of people put for Wild Ones, the album. Really, really good album for me. It's a bit of a sleeper album in terms of a lot of people forget that how Flowrider moves, how good he is, because he's another one a bit like Pitbull. I can't even speak. A bit like Pitbull, that kind of goes under the radar and people kind of write him off as just a showman. But there's nothing wrong with being a showman. There's nothing wrong in moving in that lane, because at the end of the day, if you're making good songs, people are buying them, then you're successful and you're making that money and you're getting that bag. So fair play to Flowrider for getting a couple of mentions. Shout out to Machine Gun Kelly. Machine Gun Kelly was a bit of a sore one for me, because I'm quite a big fan of Machine Gun Kelly. I was a fan of Machine Gun Kelly way back in the day, in the days that I think like 2012. That's when I first heard of Machine Gun Kelly. Invincible, I believe it is, with Skylar Grey. It's a really good song. So Machine Gun Kelly getting a couple of shout outs is really good. He's released quite a lot of good albums in the past couple of years. One of my personal favourites is Binge. I really like Binge. That came out shortly. I think it was an EP actually. Though it came out shortly after the whole beef that he had with Eminem. He dropped Rap Devil and then he dropped Binge. So at the time when he was most popular, so it was probably the smartest thing to do, to drop it when all the eyes were on him. So shout out to Machine Gun Kelly. If you think any of the people that got a couple of mentions that I can't remember properly, then I'll bring them up again while I'm talking about this list. But yeah, number 5, Damn, Kendrick Lamar, making it very firmly into the top 5, deservedly so in my opinion. I'm just looking at my notes just because I've got so many things to talk about. Coming in at number 4, this was a surprise to me in terms of, I didn't think there was that much love out there for this album. I mean, I thought it was okay. I mean, it's alright. But yeah, coming in at number 4 is Marshall Mathers LP2. Now, this album features the famous rap god, The song where he originally broke the record for the most words said in a certain amount of time, and then he went on to break his own record again with Godzilla on Music to Be Murdered By. You know, I just realised I didn't put that in my top 10. That's a tragic. Oh my god, that's a travesty. Absolute travesty. I'm so sorry to myself. I'm disappointed in myself. That actually got a couple of mentions, by the way. Shout out to people who spoke on Murder, but it didn't get into the top 5. There's another album that didn't get into the top 5. But yeah, Marshall Mathers LP2, really good. Rap God's on there. Survivor is on there. I believe that was a theme song for a Call of Duty game a couple of years ago. It might have been Call of Duty Ghosts. I don't know how I remember that, because I don't even like Call of Duty, but I'm pretty sure it was Ghosts. Shout out to Monster featuring Rihanna. Rihanna makes a lot of good music with Eminem. Whenever she's around Eminem, she makes good music. Love the Way You Lie was a really good tune on Recovery. So shout out to Eminem's getting into once again the top 5 of a list. He was in the Naughty's top 5 if you remember correctly. So, oh wait, he wasn't. I've just remembered. He actually wasn't. What? Oh my god. I've just literally just remembered right now while I was on the mic. He didn't make it into the top 5, did he, in the noughties? This is the first time Eminem's been featured in the top 5 on this channel, which is absolutely incredible. That's mad. That is insane. Oh yeah, I remember specifically saying last week it was your guys' fault because you couldn't decide, but you decided this week, so fair enough. Wow, I just blew my own mind. I just naturally assumed then, and then I remembered what the top 5 was for the noughties. I assumed that he was in the top 5 for the noughties, but he wasn't. Jesus. Wow, that's just completely threw me off. My God. Eminem not being in the top 5 of the noughties. But we're not talking about the noughties. Sorry. Getting back on track. I'm still upset about that. I'm still salty. But don't worry, we're doing a couple more lists in a couple more months. You know, we're going to keep updating this list to see if it changes. So maybe you might get into it. With that being said, yeah, number 4, Marshall Mathers LP2. Looking at number 3, coming in, no surprise to me. If I'm honest, I'm surprised mainly, actually, that this wasn't number 1. Really was surprised. And we're talking about, of course, 2014 Forest Hill Drive, J. Cole. J. Cole, for me, is an enigma. Being that with hip-hop changing over the years, in terms of how it sounds and, you know, the different styles coming into it over the years, J. Cole has never really changed his style, and you've got to take your hat off to him for that, because in terms of this generation, you got to think him and Kendrick are the goats when it comes to like lyricism and all that. You know that the torch has been passed to them in terms of, you know, what they can do with words, what they can do with their music. So J. Cole making it into the top 5, number 3. I'm surprised it wasn't number 1, but he fully deserves to be in our top 5. Forest Hill Drive, a really good album. This is another situation where I don't really want to go too much into Forest, because I want to do an intro on it. Really good. It's actually been highly recommended for an intro by a couple of people, so shout out to people who reminded me how good of an album this was. I recently listened to it again just because of how good it was, and I haven't listened to it for a long time, so I wanted to remind myself on it. So fair play to people who shouted out Forest Hill. Really good album. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. As I say, I'm not going to go too much into it just because, you know, I want to give you guys an experience of maybe listening to it for the first time, or maybe the first time of listening to it in a while, and also because I'm going to do a fully, you know, diving into. I've been saying that a lot lately about these albums that we're talking about, but I mean it. I really want to do a deep dive into some of these albums that we're talking about, mainly because it's come to my attention how popular they are with the community, and in general, it's just reminded me, you know, that these albums exist, and you know they need some attention on them. So fair play. I talked about that in a couple of albums in the noughties, and it's going to be the same case with Damn. I have a feeling I think I'm going to do Damn. I'm definitely going to do Forest Hill, as I say. So shout out to J. Cole. J. Cole, without a shadow of a doubt, definitely deserves to be in this. He is one of the best of this generation. He has a certain attitude towards features, which can be taken as a good thing and a bad thing. I suppose, you know, he doesn't want anyone to soil his work on his albums, if you want to look at it that way. But shout out to J. Cole. Really enjoy J. Cole's music. Let's have a look. Yeah. See, this is where it gets interesting for me, because I was so surprised that this beat out not only the top, you know, the ones that have come before this, like Forest and Damn and Marshall Mathers. I'm not too surprised it beat out, but to be in the top 5 in general for this, it actually really surprised me. And for me, this is one of my favorite albums of the 10s, but I didn't know it'd make it into the top 5. I'm talking about Scorpion by Drake. Scorpion at number 2. Fantastic album. A lot of people once again sleep on this album. Not there are some lovers of Drake out there and there's some haters of Drake out there, but sometimes Drake gets a bit too much hate in my opinion. You know, all them like rumors about he doesn't write his own lyrics and all that sort of stuff. And you know, that can be a good thing because it gets, you know, different writers involved and all that sort of stuff. People who don't make their own music but write for other people, you know, it's fair enough. Like, and that helps out Drake and that helps out them getting their work out, and they get credit for it, so who cares? If you write your own lyrics, then you're a super talented guy. But, you know, not all people can do that. So, you know, different people bring their talent and bring their music across in different ways. Shouldn't be judged for that. Drake is a great example of someone who has been able to stay on top for a long, long time, mainly because he's able to switch his style up and stay relevant. He's brought out a lot of albums in the 2010s. He started out as like an R&B. Well, I say that he was always a rapper, but he was more into like, in the chart wise, he was like more R&B. You know, Just Hold On, We're Going Home, etc. Thank Me Later, for me, is a very good album, very underrated album. I believe that also came out in the 10s, and that also deserves a shout out. That didn't get mentioned by anyone, but I'm just gonna shout out myself because for me that's a really good album. But Scorpion is just on another level. You've got to talk about God's Plan, not just because of the video. If you don't know, the video consists of, it starts out with a message and it says, you know, we requested $1 million from the record label to, you know, make this video, and then we gave it all away. And then the video is basically him just going giving out money to his schools, to some, you know, to his fans, to some homeless people. He goes into a supermarket and says, everything that you buy today is on me. Really nice video, good feels, good vibes. God's Plan in itself is a really good song. In My Feelings, that's a really good song. All of these songs that I'm talking about, like, blasted onto the charts, and like Drake has also mainly stayed on top. 2018 was his year, mainly because of this album, because of all the fucking like just beats and the iconic beats and the iconic like lyrics that are, you know, on this album. Really good, really good. And I'm not gonna lie, spoiler, it is in my top 10. You'll find out where it is in my top 10. But I really like Drake sometimes, and I'll speak on that a little bit now. I like Drake sometimes in terms of, I feel like sometimes it can be a bit monotone and it doesn't suit the song that he's on, and I think that really hurts his work sometimes. But at the same time, he knows how to switch it up, and when he, you know, for example on Sicko Mode, that sort of tone really suits that song, and it really helped that song, in my opinion, be better than it would be if Drake wasn't on it. No offense to Travis Scott, by the way. Travis Scott is fire, but that song, on this album especially, I'm trying to think. In My Feelings was really good. What's the other one? I'm gonna like carry on talking about Drake while I look up my favorite song that's on that album. But Drake has been around for a long time. Obviously, he was in Young Money at the start of the 2010s, and then he left Young Money because of, you know, shenanigans. That's mainly because of Birdman. Lil Wayne had some trouble with Birdman, so, you know, he took Drake away from Birdman. You know, like that is a subject for another day. Mainly because like the information in that whole situation alone is just worth an entire coverage of a video. Really good. I'm just on the album now. Let's have a look. Non-Stop, by the way, absolutely really good song. That's an absolutely fantastic song. Let's bring out the word fantastic because I didn't use it enough in the Naughties video. Oh, where is it? I really want to get this song, like, into the universe because it's stuck in my head. Nice for What? That's what it's called. Nice for What? Oh God, I could not remember that for the life of me. But that's my favorite song on Scorpion. I believe Scorpion's also a double album, by the way. But there's a reason why Drake has been on top for so long, and it's because he makes quality music, and you can't deny that. if you're a fan of Drake, if you hate Drake, you can't deny that he's a talented person. And in my opinion, I believe he deserves where he. I deserve. Oof, does he? I was about to make a really bold statement. Yeah, he does. He deserves to stand where he does, in terms of being on top of the mountain. And I think that's a bold statement, but as I say, he's earned it. He really has earned it, and he's able to switch up his music, and he's able to switch up his game. So fair play to Drake for making it into the top 5, number 2 nonetheless. But coming in at number 1, this is absolutely no surprise to me. I'm happy that it's at number 1. Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick Lamar. Shout out to Kendrick for getting 2 albums into the top 5. That might be the first time it's happened on this little series that we're doing. I think it might be the first time. Just thinking then, did 50 Cent do it last week? No, he didn't. He was number 1, but I don't think the Massacre got into the top 5. But shout out to Good Kid, Mad City. We've already discussed this at length on the intro video. Go check that out, by the way, the Good Kid, Mad City intro video. That's one of my favourite videos that we've made on this channel so far, so definitely go check that out. It's in detail. I discuss every song on the album in detail. I discuss the story behind the album in detail. I even discuss the cover art on it in detail. Absolutely fantastic. I talk about some of the interviews surrounding the album. Just go and check that video out after this video. If you're a fan of my album reviews, for some reason if you haven't had a chance to check that out yet, then I definitely recommend a watch, just because it's so in detail, and it's about one of my favourite rappers, and one of your favourite rappers, clearly, because it's number 1. A little bit of a closer list this week. 100% a little bit of a closer list, just because there was a few albums on this list that got nearly the same amount of votes, but they all got a lot of votes. And so congratulations to you guys for picking such a good list. Once again, I believe this is a really good list. A lot of surprises on this list again. Marshall Mathers, for example, as I say, getting into the top 5. Forest Hill not being number 1, but I definitely knew it was going to get into the top 5. But without further ado, let's look at my top 10. Now, you guys are going to be mad about my top 10. Mainly because it's so different. It's so different, and the music that's on here is a reflection of where I've been in this past decade and the people that I like right now. And you're going to be surprised about some of the albums that aren't on my top 10. But without further ado, coming in at number 10, your guys' number 2, Scorpion, Drake. This had to be in my top 10. Just because of how much I like it when it came out in 2018. Fantastic album, really good. As I say, we've already talked about it, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But going in at number 9, Culture 2, Migos. Really good album. I was really struggling where to put this on my list. I was thinking maybe put it a little bit further down, like, maybe even creeping into the top 5. But there was just too much on my list. There was already a couple of albums that I skipped off this list, and I'm pretty disappointed about, just because I wish it was a top 20. But Culture, Migos, really good album. You got Bad Bitches Only by 21 Savage on there. You got Motorsport that's on there. So many good songs by Migos. You've got features for days on that album. Just go and give that album a listen. Culture 2, really good. I need Migos to bring out another album, just because I know it's going to be fire. Migos have been killing it in the past 4 years in terms of sales that they've been doing, like how they've been moving, the spotlight they're in. Quavo and Offset especially. I would say maybe Offset more than Quavo, but Quavo's features on a couple of songs recently have been fire, and he's always good at features. He was on Congratulations with Post Malone. That's the first feature I ever heard him on. It was either that one or Oh My God with Camila Cabello. Both really good features. He was recently on Intentions with Justin Bieber. Really good song. As I say, we've already discussed that on this channel, Intentions, how I feel about it. It's very good. It's grown on me and I still like it. But Culture 2 is fantastic. Really good. Go and give Culture 2 a listen. I love the album cover as well. It's a very simple album cover. Another good song that's on there, Walk It Like I Talk It, with Drake. That's a tune. Banger. just go give that a listen. I love that album. Do you know what? I'm feeling listening to that like after this video. To be quite honest with you, that might be the album that I'm going to be listening to after this video. But coming in at number 8, we've got Dummy Boy by 6ix9ine, and that might be a surprise to all of you guys. But Dummy Boy, it was so different and so new for me. It really stood out, especially because of all the features that are on there. Once again, we've already discussed it on an intro video on this channel. Go give that a listen. I dive deep into the story around when that song came out, you know, what happened afterwards, the features that are on it. I discuss all the songs in detail once again. Go and listen to that song. 6ix9ine's cadence for me is different more than anyone else. I believe he's probably also, in terms of starting beef and using that to his advantage and using that to build his own career, probably maybe one of the best of all time at it. Very good. 6ix9ine definitely deserves a place on my top 10 in terms of Dummy Boy, just because it had so many. I want to talk about some of the features once again that are on this album. For a debut, it's not his debut album, but like as in like, you know, a mainstream, because this is at the height of his career. I mean, the other EPs and CDs that he brought out, CDs, God, is this like 95 albums that he brought out before Dummy Boy got him some traction, but the singles that he released off this album got him so much attention, and all the beef that he was going through at the time, that Dummy Boy was an absolute hit when it dropped. Really good. You got Kanye West on this album, you got Nicki Minaj on this album, you got Gunna, you got Boogie, you've got Anuel AA, the Spanish rapper. So many great features on this album. Nicki Minaj's Fifi also, I believe, got 6ix9ine his first top 10 Billboard hit, so shout out to that tune. Really good. And Gooba looks to be going the same way as well. It's currently sitting at number 1 single wise. He dropped a picture on Instagram, and it said, you know, when everyone's dropping albums, now I drop a single, and it's like number 1 compared to everyone else's album. So shout out to 6ix9ine. As I say, Dummy Boy defo deserves a space on my top 10. Really good. If somehow you have never seen the Dummy Boy cover, it's just basically a picture of an animated 6ix9ine pissing on the floor. Go look at it, go listen to the album, go show it some love. Right. This is going to be controversial. I know this is going to be controversial for a lot of people. But I had a really tough time. I wanted to put at least one Eminem album on the top 10 of my list, and it was a really hard choice. I won't lie. I was gonna put Music to Murdered By on there. I was gonna put Kamikaze on there. I was super tempted to put Kamikaze on there, mainly because some of the songs that are on there. Like, do you know, in a couple of months when we come back to this, that might be on my top 10. I might switch it up, but for now, and I know this is gonna be controversial, Recovery is on my top 10. A lot of people sleep on Recovery. There's a lot of hate out there for Recovery, and for the life of me, I have no idea why. No idea why. So many good songs on the album. You had Relapse in 2009 that I can kind of see why people hate on it a little bit, but Recovery is really good. My favourite song on there is maybe Almost Famous. Absolute tune. You've got Love the Way You Lie with Rihanna, that's on there. Won't Back Down with Pink, that was also a Call of Duty theme song. Really good song. You got 25 to Life on there. Fantastic song. Spacebound. Really good song. I think people didn't like this mainly because like how different it sounded to the rest of Eminem's music. But do you know what I mean? Different's good sometimes. And in terms of this album, it's great. I love this album. Fantastic. I'm sorry if you don't like that, but it's my list. So what y'all gonna do about it? Recovery is fantastic. I don't give a shit what you guys say. I mean, I do. I'm sorry. Coming in at number 6, another controversial pick for me. You guys are gonna hate me, as I told you, by the end of this top 10. Stoney, Post Malone, coming in at number 6. Yes, I love Post Malone. I know there's a lot of people out there that hate Post Malone. There's a lot of people out there that love him. I'm one of those people who love him. Why do I love him? He sounds different than anyone else. He's a nice guy. His music's fire. I was listening to him before the whole hype train started behind Post Malone, so I can confirm and say with absolute honesty, I was listening to Post Malone before he was big. I heard Rockstar when it was on SoundCloud before it even had the 21 Savage feature. I really love Post Malone. His first album, Stoney, in 2016 has some of the best music that he's ever produced on there. White Iverson, you've got Congratulations, you've got Go Flex, you've got Fall Apart. Absolutely amazing songs on there. Really good. Post Malone for me is, and I'm not saying this with any exaggeration, maybe the best of this generation. Just listen to his music. I know people say, oh, he can't make a song by himself. He always has to have features. Well, some of your favourite rappers of all time also have features on their main popular songs, so you know what I mean? What are you going to say about that? A lot of people say all of his music sounds the same. I don't agree at all. All the beats sound different. His voice is fantastic, and he's a great singer. So, I'll put it to this way. Nas sounded pretty much the same in all of his songs. He had the same flow. His voice never really changed. So, does that make him bad? That's all I'm going to say. I'm not comparing Post Malone to Nas, by the way. Don't get mad. I'm just saying a lot of the hate that he gets, people just throw his way because, it's him. But, Stoney, great album. Really good album. I love this album. I still listen to this album. If for somehow you have never heard this album before, I don't know where you've been, but go and listen to it. My number 5, another controversial one, really slept on album for me, in my opinion, The Carter 5 by Lil Wayne. I've mentioned on this channel before that I'm not a massive fan of Lil Wayne at all. I think for most of his career, his music for me has kind of flew over me just because I don't like his flow and I don't like his music. But for this one, this album is fantastic. I don't give a shit what any of you say. You talk about the Carter 3, and I said how that was nearly on my top 10. Well, the Carter 5 is way up there, as you can see on my list, with one of my favourite albums of this decade. Fantastic. You've got What About Me on there. You've got that tune that Swizz Beatz sent him the beat over for him. And he didn't like it. He didn't like the beat, but he sang on it anyway. Absolute tune. You've got that absolutely fantastic song. I think it's like Mona Lisa with Kendrick Lamar. That feature where Kendrick Lamar just absolutely just steals the song off Wayne. You've got Famous with Regine. I think that's the name. His daughter basically is singing the chorus for him. Really good. Just a great album. Just a really good album. Once again, like I don't think it gets to show like enough. Oof, what's the word I'm looking for? Let me just skip over that point. I don't think it gets enough love. I don't at all, and I don't know why. I mean, it's Lil Wayne. Everyone loves Lil Wayne. Everyone was waiting for the Carter 5 for a long time. If you know the story behind the Carter 5, it was delayed for about 7 years just because of all the contract disputes that he had with Birdman, all of the controversy surrounding, his record label. It basically got delayed for about 7 years, but when it finally came out, really good. You got people on different sides of the fence for it. A lot of people like it, a lot of people don't like it. But I am one of those people who obviously do like it. So, screw you guys. Coming in at what number are we on? Number 4. Coming in at number 4. Right. This is where it gets back on track for you guys. You guys might start to love me again. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Kanye West. Only just skimming into the 2010s. It was released in 2010. Absolutely great album, this. Go listen to it. It's got 13 songs, just over an hour. Amazing tunes. One of the best songs on there is Monster, featuring Jay-Z, Rick Ross, and Nicki Minaj. This is a famous song where Nicki Minaj killed it so much on this song that Kanye West was tempted to take her verse off this song just because he thought it'd steal the spotlight from him. I mean, in a way, he was kind of right. And this is another one where I want to do an intro on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. It's a fantastic album. Kanye West, by the way, getting into another one of my top 10s. He dominated last week. He was in your top 5, he was in my top 10, and now he's popped up in my top 10 this week. So shout out to Kanye West. For me, apart from Watch the Throne, this might be his last good album before he started to become very inconsistent. I mean, Ye was good in 2018, but yeah, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. This was the end of Kanye West's run for me in terms of, you know, consistently bringing out absolute fire. I mean, you had Late Registration, you had College Dropout, you had Graduation, you know, and then you had 808 Heartbreaks, my personal favourite album by him. And then, favourite album? Maybe. Might be on par with Graduation. But this one, Dark Twisted Fantasy, it had to be in my top 10. Really good album. Go listen to it. Go listen to everything that I say. Do everything I say. Coming in at number 3. And this is another one for you guys that you might disagree with me on, but I love this. I love this album and I love this guy. I think if he was in the game a little bit longer, if he was allowed to bring out more music, if he hadn't tragically passed away a couple of years ago, I think he definitely would have changed the game. Because a bit like Post Malone, in my opinion, he had a completely different sound to him. His music was completely different. He was able to combine several different genres and, you know, meld them into one style, which for me has never been replicated and never been copied. I don't think it ever will be copied. And my number 3, if you haven't guessed it by now, by that description, is Everybody's Everything by Lil Peep. And this was a tough decision for me because there was a lot of albums by Lil Peep that I really liked, like Come Over When You're Sober, the one with Save That Shit on it. I believe that was the first one. So Sober 1 and 2. But Everybody's Everything for me is combined with the documentary that came out, really touched my heart in terms of you know his music and the sound that he brings to his music. Lil Peep for me is one of the best of this generation. I don't think we saw enough of him at all. As you might know, he tragically passed away in 2017. 100% a missed opportunity. What a waste of life. So good. People take one look at Lil Peep and just judge him by his tattoos and, you know, maybe like one song that they've heard. Go listen to Lil Peep's music. If you're a fan of Blink-182, if you're a fan of anything pop punk from the early noughties, and if you're a fan of trap music or hip hop from now, go check out Lil Peep, because he brings them two worlds together and just makes them one, with like a bit of a Green Day, Blink-182, My Chemical Romance sort of attitude, and then a hip hop sort of melded into look and style. That sounds so complicated, but you'll know exactly what I'm talking about if you're a fan of Lil Peep. And if you listen to his music, if you've never heard of him, and you go and listen to him, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So please go check him out. As I say, I consider myself to have quite a good taste in music, and I don't put things in my list for any reason. You know, like I base my judgments and my opinions, you know, my lists on quality of music, and I wouldn't put, you know, this in my top 5 if I didn't think it was amazing. I mean, it's, you know, it's right down near to my number 1. So go check out Lil Peep. Please go check out Lil Peep. Go show him some love. You might end up falling in love with his music. I know I did when I first checked him out. I started listening to him just before he passed away, so I kind of missed the hype train while he was alive, and then it obviously blew up after he passed away, and I was around for that. But I started listening to him a couple of months before. There was a tour that he was doing in Paris. It shows it in the documentary, and that's about the time where I discovered Lil Peep. So as I say, I was way behind on his music. So yeah, go check out Lil Peep. Fantastic. Number two. Good Kid, Mad City. That's all I'm going to say. Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick Lamar. Of course it's in my top 10. Of course it's number 2. What how could it not be? The love that I've shown on this channel for this album, in this video alone, you could have probably guessed it was going to be in my top 5, let alone my top 10. So, yeah, Kendrick Lamar. What more can I say about it? I'm not going to dwell on it. Number 1. Number 1. Beer Bongs and Bentleys by Post Malone. I know, I can hear yous going, oh, again, yes. Beer Bongs and Bentleys is my number 1. Why is it my number 1? Because it's a fucking good album. I don't give a shit what you say. The amount of hits that are on this album are great. You got Rockstar. You have got Better Now. You have got Psycho. You've got Candy Paint. You've got Sugar Wraith. You've got Same Bitches. You've got 92 Explorer. You've got Spoil My Night. The features that are on this album, you got Nicki Minaj, you got Sway Lee, you got 21 Savage, you got Ty Dolla $ign. What more can I say? I've seen him live. I've seen a lot of these songs live. Oh, G-Eazy and YG, by the way, are also on this album. I've seen him live, and he performs just as well he does on albums. Beer Bongs and Bentleys for me is fantastic, and the records that it broke and the accolades that it received, the awards that it got, speak for itself. Post Malone is not a one-hit wonder, and he proved that with Stoney, and he proved that with Beer Bongs and Bentleys. And to be quite honest with you, I was very tempted to put Hollywood's Bleeding, his latest 2019 album, into my top 10. He proved it with that as well, with Goodbyes and with Young Thug. Young Thug, by the way, quick shout out to him. He released some quite good albums and music in this decade, but not my cup of tea. But yeah, guys, that's my top 10. I'm gonna be doing an intro video on Beer Bongs and Bentleys quite soon. That is in the pipeline. So if you do like Post Malone, you can be happy about that. If you don't like him, then go show it some love anyway, because you might learn some stuff about him, and you might hear some stuff that you might change your mind about him. But a little fact for you, about Post Malone for you. He drank so much Bud Light that Bud Light started sponsoring him. He wasn't actually sponsored by him originally, but he drank so much of it and mentioned it so much that Bud Light approached him, and now he's actually sponsored by him, so he gets paid to drink his favourite beer. So, is that not everyone's dream? Is that not everyone's fantasy? I wish I got sponsored by fucking vodka, any vodka company. I wish I got sponsored by Strongbow. That'd be fucking dope. But yeah, guys, that is the end of the video. So much love to you guys. I know maybe we fell out about this top 10 that I've got here. I know we might have disagreed, but we can make friends again by me now saying thank you for listening to me again. So much support in the past month. I can't believe all the support that I've received, all the interesting stuff we've been able to talk about together. The channel is slowly but surely growing in terms of views. I do want to get some more subscribers, obviously, just so more people can get their hands on this content. The Instagram page is blowing up, getting a lot of likes on last week's thumbnail. Shout out to Jake once again for that. The Facebook group, I've set up not only a group, but I've set up a page as well, just to coincide with the Instagram posts. Once again, big shout out to Andre, who made not only the banner but the logo, which is now on the Instagram page, the Facebook page, and the YouTube page. I do want to set up a Twitter account. I'm not the biggest Twitter guy in the world, not by a long shot, but I will get that set up for you guys. If you are a fan of Twitter, watch that space, because I will be dropping a page very soon. Speaking of the channels, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, share this video. Turn on post notifications if you want to stay in touch with not only the videos that I bring out, but just messages that I put on this channel sometimes. Please go follow the Instagram page at Chartopper Radio, same name. Go follow the group and the page on Facebook, same name, Chartopper Radio. Once again, guys, episode 10 next week. Let's make it an interesting one. Next week one, I'm announcing it now just because it's a special one, and we're not going to make just in the spirit of this channel. Let's make it. I want to see you guys your top 10 favorite artists of all time. And I'm not just talking about hip hop, and I'm not just talking about R&B. I'm talking about everything, absolutely anything you would like. That could be groups, that could be singles artists, it could be anything. And I'm not just talking about 90s onwards. I'm talking about anything like the 50s all the way upwards. If you want to go before the 50s, that's absolutely fine by me. Top 10 favorite artists of all time from any genre. I'm going to try and make it a special episode next week, and I might have a surprise for you next week as well. So, as I say, guys, thank you so much for the support. Keep on supporting the channel. We're only going to be growing from here. This is the sound of the people. You guys give your opinions, and me, as the voice of the people, I put it out there to the rest of the community so you guys can have your opinions known. With that being said, I love you guys. Hope you have a great weekend, whatever's left of it. Hope you've had a great bank holiday.